Sure, and apologies a little bit late here. Starting this, just with other, this isn't my full-time job. I've got two full-time jobs, one that pays the bills and one that involves that eats up the bills. So yeah, so but look, I've got here Tom, the and of the of, I said I had Damian McKenzie. Of course, it's the myth of Damian McKenzie. I've got Tom here tonight, and I think I'm not sure. This might be the I don't, this might be the first time we've actually seen the face behind the myth of Damian McKenzie. So
Yes, yes.
so yeah, do you want to just tell us about a little bit about yourself and yeah, just how the page started and all?
Hey guys, yeah. So my name's Tom, Myth Damian McKenzie. I've run the page for a couple of years now. I live in the Waikato, proud Chiefs man.
Of course.
Uh, yeah, proud Chiefs man. You grew up in the Waikato. About the page started probably 2, 3 years ago now. Um, I was just getting sick of seeing Damien left out of the All Blacks, to be honest, and I wanted to give him a voice. Obviously, the players can't come out and cry about it about the selections, but I can. I can come out. So yeah, I started my page up to get Damien's name out there. Not that people don't know who Damien is, but I don't know. A lot of people just went to appreciate him for the talent he was. Look at that, All Blacks 10 now. So I guess I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
right. Guess I was right.
Nice. He's a Southland. You do know he's originally from the Southland, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely,
yeah,
yeah.
but to be fair, Hamilton's a bit of an upgrade from Invercargill. Like, look, I used to live in Dunedin, right? So I'm a bit
Oh,
of
yes.
a Highlanders fan, but I know lots of people from Invercargill. So yeah, it's a bit of an upgrade. So, whereabouts in the like? Are you in Hamilton or outside?
Yeah, Hamilton, yeah, Hamilton, yeah, Hamilton, yeah,
Patron.
working Hamilton. Went to school around here, and just I remember watching Damien for the first time when I was probably about 15 or something like
Oh
that.
wow.
I was pretty young. And I was just mesmerized. I was just like, geez, this guy's bloody lightning quick. He's a bit of a
Yeah,
whippet, and I guess the myth is just growing. Um, he's built a pretty good career for himself now, and he's getting his plaudits obviously from the media, from the All Blacks coach, and I can't really believe what I'm seeing because I never thought I'd ever see the day that D-Mate would be
yeah,
running the ship. So it's pretty special to me.
yeah. And I guess yeah. So so you obviously what? Yeah. So you started the page. Yeah, obviously you get some a bit more support for Damien and yeah, have you? I don't know. Do you interact with other page? Oh, sorry, some Gore. Well, does it count as Gore Southland? Yeah. Well, Southland. Sorry. From Mark Haas. Yeah. So um. Yeah, so do you interact with other I know there's like like the Legend of Marty Banks or
Yeah, no, there's a few out there. I've got quite a good relationship with rugby highlights or short ball rugby. I look up to him quite a lot, and he was probably the main content I kind of like looking at. He's got real nice content, and yeah, no, there's a few real good guys out there. I'm actually in a group, World Rugby News and Banter, WR News and Banter. Give that add that group, guys. Real good guys run that insane banter, and I'm an admin on that as well. And yeah, we're always just trying to spread
is
the
that
spread the
on
good word.
is that
That's
on
on
Facebook?
Facebook.
Oh
That's on
right, okay.
Facebook.
Yeah,
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 yeah, WR, yeah, News Rugby. It's about 12,000 people on it, something like that. But no, it's a real good bunch of guys on there. So
they
you give
like
give that a follow.
is that like whoever's in the group is that like who's in like whereabouts are the other members from?
Yeah, there's a couple Kiwi guys in there. There's a South African guy, a couple Aussies. I want to say there's a Scottish guy in there. It's a good melting pot. There's quite a lot in there. So yeah, it's just trying to spread the good word of rugby and it's real good chat in there.
Yeah, yeah. So how big's the group?
I want to say it's about 12,000 people now.
Oh wow, that's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty decent mix. I mean, yeah, like rugby is a growing sport, like in the scheme compared, like obviously like the other sport, like soccer, football, and all that. It's small, but it's definitely growing. So, and then
Rugby's
like
growing. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. So I guess yeah. I mean, I guess if we'd done this a week ago, probably wouldn't have been the best time because I guess I
Oh,
mean it would
yeah.
All Blacks lost and in the New Zealand, obviously, when I know, I guess it has. I mean, I think there's a little bit of realization now that in the last couple of years, maybe I guess that might have been the one positive from. I know Ian Foster. The times Ian Foster was, isn't exactly going to be remembered fondly, but I guess if there was one positive, is that we've realized well, rugby is a lot more competitive. The game and
Yeah.
teams can come over New Zealand and Ireland came over, won two tests in a row in New Zealand, and
Mm,
then Argentina came over, and it's made it more competitive. I guess by the and yeah, I guess in the past, when the All Blacks lost, it was kind of like it kind. I don't know whether the media hypes up a bit as well, but it kind of feels like the world's about to end. There's no tomorrow, but I guess yeah. I mean, obviously we've done anyway. I digress. If we'd done this last week again, yeah, so I guess maybe not the best, wouldn't have been the best time to do this, but certainly, yeah, what did you, what were your thoughts like, after that, when we lost to Argentina, certainly with that, with D-Mac's performance?
yeah, no, great question. Um, After the games at Argentina, I was pissed. Simple as that. I was pissed. I always expect my All Blacks team and honestly my Chiefs team to win. At the end of the day, professional sport, you're not always going to win. You can get the greatest athletes on the planet and put them together, and you'll be surprised. Some will be able to beat them on a given day. You look at the NBA. I don't think any team has ever done better than 72 wins or 73 wins
Yeah,
and 9 losses in a season. I think it is.
yeah,
This was stacked All Star team, and they still lost 10% of their games. At the end of the day, we're going to lose. We're not going to win every game. It was extremely fired up Puma's team.
yeah.
All their tries came from turnovers. I think there's a cross kick from Reese. The Reese
Mm,
one. There was a turnover, and then you got ALB ran out into the midfield, and they scored off that. They kicked pretty well
yeah,
as well. So, and obviously there was the Damian pass. That was a calamity of errors. You got obviously the Savia push pass back, and then the McKenzie pass back, and
yeah.
even then, I'll say, and this is no excuse on Damian or Artie, but in the past, we'd expect an All Blacks team to shut a team out in that situation.
Mm, yeah,
Obviously, you know they were fired up, but defending on the line, that's what wins Test matches. That's what wins World Cups. So we saw they didn't really have much defense in them. In the
mm,
weekend, it's all attitude. It's an attitude thing, really. I'm not
mm,
saying we were complacent in that first test, but I know for a fact they weren't preparing for the test the same way they prepared for last week.
yeah.
Just the intent, game plan, obviously game plan as well. Huge change from last week. You see them putting the ball in front of the forwards. Damien was clearing it for touch, not trying to play a contestable game in his own half. Again, that's game plan. You saw Damien got a lot of stick for it, but it was a clear game plan that they were trying to contest for that ball in their own half, maybe trying to
Yeah.
create broken play in the midfield. But with the wingers we had on, Tilly and Reese, I don't know if that was the right option. Two small wingers compared to say Clark and Jordan. I think
Mm,
that's not All Blacks rugby, is it? Like we've grown up watching us play expansive, beautiful rugby for our whole lives. Watching us
yeah.
play a contestable kick game is probably unfamiliar to the players. For the most systems, players have to buy into systems. Everyone has to be committed to it. And at the end of the day, if half the squad isn't into it and half them is, it won't work. So
Mm,
kicking for territory in the wet, it was real good to see. The team in general looked like it had a lot more cohesion. Um, Obviously, that can take time, and there's no answer to cohesion. At the end of the day, you play with what's in front of you, and pressure can be it's a weird thing. Pressure can Some of the greatest players on our planet can crumble under pressure. I'll say this to anyone who's listening to this: get a piece of paper and a bin, and say to yourself, "This is for $1 million," and just try visualize it. Try as hard as you can. Throw that paper in that bin 5 times. You will miss that paper almost every time. Don't think about the money. Do it. You'll get it in 10 times out of 10. If you pressure's what gets people. And that's what makes someone
$1 million. Yeah, and that's why it's $1 million. If it was that easy, it'll be
exactly. Like what $1 million can change your life. And you start thinking of all those things, and that's where pressure really does hit people differently. What do these comments say? Anyway, but yeah, but yeah,
yes, I know.
But yeah, no. Obviously, pressure really does change a lot of athletes. I guess that's what separates the good and the great. The ones who can handle the pressure. And on the weekend, we saw Damian. I don't know if I've ever seen the media guy for one player for how he played. He didn't play that bad. I think people forget he kicked 6 out of 7 goals.
He set
up the opening try for Derry, I think it was last week. And he set up the Leonard Brown try. He wasn't useless, people, he wasn't useless at all, but there was definitely things in his game. Don't get me wrong, and he's still learning. It's a work in progress. So everyone knows that all great 10s improve with time in the saddle, and when a players, will give you all the great ones. Carter, Wilkinson, Sexton, Liner. These guys knew that they were the 10. They were told this is your team. And it's up to you to sort it out, We've got to back Damian. We got to see what he can show us. I think the test in Ellis Park it's effectively his litmus test. It's the All Blacks litmus test. We've never seen Damian run the cutter against an elite top 2 team. We've seen him against England, and he won us those games. He won. We've seen him do bits against France and Argentina over the years. We've seen him play fullback against Ireland, against South Africa. There was the game winner in 2017. If you know, you know. But no, we've never seen Damian run the cutter at an elite test level.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk a bit about South Africa in a little bit. Yeah, I think the contrast for me, in Wellington, Argentina just came out, and I think they played a style of rugby that we'd be so used to. Where it's just high intensive. Their forwards would just run on top. They matched us, and I don't know, because I guess it was the first rugby championship game, and it's sort of been we did have a couple of weeks off, so it was kind of the All Blacks were just kind of struggling to get the car out of third gear. I know almost everyone drives an EV now, so there's no such thing as gearboxes, but just kind of struggling to get it, and they got it there, but it was just I think Argentina won. They felt hey, we can keep them under control, rattle them, and they sort of kept it. I guess if the All Blacks were 14, 20 points at first half, I think they would have easily won. But it's just Argentina just kept themselves right in the game, and there were all these just mistakes. I guess uncharacteristic mistakes made by the All Blacks, and that let them back in, and Argentina half time was hang on, and I guess they've got someone like their coach is Felipe Contepomi, who's he's a
rugby brain, man. Yeah, no, he's got a great rugby brain.
Yeah, and he's a back, so I mean, but it's been coming for a while. I mean, it's a shame that Jaguares got binned. Because that was that really, those years when Argentina was in Super Rugby, it just suddenly they used to just all be about their forwards, and they had some good backs, but now their backs are I think some would say their backs are almost just as good as.
Oh no, their outside backs are lethal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it Malia? Malia, he's class. He's a class fullback, and I'll say as well, Argentina, they're a good team. Again, professional team. They've made I think they made the last World Cup semi, didn't they? Yeah, they made the last World Cup semi. They got smashed by the All Blacks, obviously. But they're not useless. People forget that they're sixth in the world right now,
Yeah,
and they play on emotion. If you keep them in the game and you give them a sniff, they'll take an
yeah.
inch. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile because they're that good. They've got multiple players laced through Europe,
And
European,
like
URC, top 14.
Carreras is emerging as a really good first five. Yeah, like he was. Yeah,
Real
he
good
was.
first five.
Yeah,
He's a good game manager, 100%. And when
yeah, like
when the forward pack shows up,
yeah,
Matera, Kremer, they're pretty
yeah.
hard to beat. They're pretty hard to beat,
And they
honestly.
got Creevy back from like he was going to retire. It's like, oh no, come back, and then yeah. So it's like yeah. I think I saw with the All Blacks though, and I said this in one of my previews, and for the for the seasons, like we've got this. I think 2024. We know it's a new coaching system. There's going to be lots of change and all that. So we've got these players have got to give a bit of time. And yeah, and a lot of them have just not been in the situation where they had to chase the game. And look, I guess yeah, it's a cliche. There's not one player who costs the game. I mean,
Yeah.
it is magnified on the big, in the it's
On the big stage, yeah,
but
100%.
for the fact was, they probably should not have been in that situation where they just had to chase the game. But hey, they'll learn, and look, they did learn. I mean, they
Yeah.
bounced back to Brooklyn, and yeah, the first half, and I guess yeah. I mean, look,
What did you think about Bodie at 10 and Will Jordan at fullback for that 30 minutes we saw on the weekend?
Was this in the second half?
Yeah, like I think because I think they
Yeah.
took off TJ, Cody, Damian.
They took off DMAC. It was like we lost momentum after that. Hey, yeah, it was like I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think we
it was
lost.
just
I think that second half was 7-7, and then 7-0 with our subs. We didn't
I
score
mean,
a point after that.
it's quite hard to judge because I mean, when you're like so many points up, once Will Jordan scored that first try in the second half,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
so
yeah, no,
so, like you can't just judge. I mean,
no, it is. It's hard to be motivated when you're winning by 40 points.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, it wasn't, yeah. So, yeah, like it wouldn't be fair to judge. I mean, it's been a while. We've always known Borden Barrett's much better as an impact player. Like, especially tiring defenses. He's not in fullback. He's got more space, and then he's just when against tiring defenses, that's where he's the best. Like, he's probably like the best super sub
impact player
in any sport. I don't know who. Yeah, think of
in
other
rugby
sports.
in history. Yeah. Oh, that's a great
It's
question,
like just
actually.
how many, yeah, because how many players come off the bench? I think going back, you go back 2015 Rugby World Cup final. It's like, yeah, I mean, I mean, he scores that try at the end. I mean, but
Oh,
yeah, that
I used to
signature.
love Victor Vito off the bench.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
He was
Vito.
a beast. He was
Mm,
a beast off the bench. Yeah, no, I reckon. Yeah, no, the All Blacks team is a good team. Like it's the All Blacks we're talking about, and New Zealanders. I'll say we've got short memories. A lot of New Zealanders have short memories. So it's so easy to say, the All Blacks aren't up to scratch, or they aren't, up to scratch. But at the end of the day, they're a professional rugby team. They're representing themselves, their families. I'm sure they're going out there to win. They're not going out there to
oh,
piss
yeah,
around. And
yeah,
people like to compare generations. They like to compare athletes. But I'll say
that's
this as well.
yeah,
If you, don't get me wrong, Carter and McCall were class. They're the best we've ever had. We probably won't get better. But
mm,
look, you look back in some of those games. I sometimes watch back on old footage, and you even watch some of those games. Not so much against the Aussies or the English or the Box. They've always been good. But you watch back on some of these Welsh games, Irish games, Argentinian games, even Fiji games. It was not even about who was going to win. It was would they get 100 or not, or would they get
yeah,
80? Like the level is so different these days. Even things like in the weekend, for example, Damian kicking those 6 conversions. He had 60 seconds per kick there. The game has changed. I think I don't know. Do you know about if there was a shot clock way back in the day? 05 sort of 10 was.
I think they've always had there's always been a minimum time where they have to kick. Like you've
Cool.
obviously, I mean, you
Yeah.
couldn't take like 1 minute, but I think it's become because that shot. And finally, we should talk about that shot clock because yeah, because I guess it's crazy how long it took Sky Sports to actually realize, hey, you can actually, put a counter there because they had that at the Rugby World Cup. I think they had it in 2019 or maybe 2023. It's like, oh yeah, seeing that. And look, I think they've always had it, but I think they because World Rugby obviously wants to keep the game going, and
The
they
emphasis
much
is there.
better.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's like well,
No,
that's
there's genuine pressure on those kickers now to kick it in 60 seconds from when the try is scored. By the time that tee's on the field, by the time you've lined it up and prepared yourself, it's
yeah.
not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time actually. So, no, huge credit to what those guys go out there and do.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think it's just because we see like the other go in and go over, and you don't, I mean, you see other teams chasing up. You learn that in like basic rugby. Conversion. Once he moves up, you can rush up and you do whatever you want to try and put. But you know, most of the there's just I guess with professional top level rugby, they always hit it. It's like yeah, but and the rare occasion you see them muck it up, it's like someone chases it, but. Yeah, but no, but yeah, I mean that of course, yeah, that shot clock thing of was that England or was
Yeah.
that which
Yeah. First test, I think it might have been. First test against England. And
I because
yeah,
I saw that and I thought, yeah, I know, yeah, I knew like yeah, he's timed out. And it's like I mean, it was quite funny how there was some sort like oh, hang on, the clock didn't, there was some I think there's some posts on social media like oh, hey, this isn't actually a minute, but yeah, it was like, well, he actually took it before, but oh well. In any case, like, yeah, it's quite crazy. Like, we're,
it's
New
crazy to think
Zealand,
that modern day 2024 with the technology we've got that they couldn't have a shot clock up. It's
well,
crazy to
they
think.
yeah, because they had it at I'm pretty sure I saw it at the Rugby World Cup. Like, once they
They
saw it,
did.
like, yeah, it was like, hey, they've had this for a while. It's not that hard.
I
Um,
reckon from a game day package and from what you get as a product, the NRL, the way they broadcast and the way they just display everything and how they do it, they're so onto it, eh?
yeah,
If you watch
it
the
is strange.
NRL, the way they do it, they've been onto it for a long time as now, and you've seen the NRL is growing ridiculous. The NRL is
They've got a really good product. Like, I know there's people talk about the
yeah,
refs, and Warriors fans will bitch and moan about the refs, or well, they have done that
of
since
course.
1995. But yeah, the bunker, the way it works, like this live, it keeps the game flowing and that's something rugby union could pick up. And the other thing, of course, yeah, like in I don't know if you watched the Euro 2024, because you know how in soccer football
Mm,
they've got I've got to call it soccer football because yeah, like with VAR, how it's in the World Cup, it's like they just stop the game and you could be like, and it adds like 10 minutes of extra time. It's like this is ridiculous. And they in Euro 2024, they've sort of like what they've done is like they use AI and try and they review it as soon as possible and sort of live and they cut down the time wasted. So I was like, oh, why don't we use that? And I didn't do that in the Olympics. It's like, yeah, those are just ideas, because I know rugby
what do
there's
you
going to be a lot of time wasted with like the added time and rugby games they're 80 minutes, but you often most games a lot of games we're going over the 2 hour mark, so it's like and that's not ideal. If you've got kids, it's like, oh, this game kicked off at 7, it's like 9, 10, and there's still like 5 minutes to go. It's like, no, it's not ideal.
what's your opinions on the whole, I guess, TMO versus VAR? Because we saw against Argentina first test, I think it was. I think Blackadder he went into the contact and he got bumped off. Yeah, they went to check it. Timo was doing everything he could
Yeah,
to give a yellow. You could see he wanted to give a yellow, but I think it was Gardner. He had nothing off it. He overruled the TMO in that
that
sense.
actually
And
makes sense. Yeah, like I mean, yeah, look, I mean, the more
what?
traditional rugby fans would think, oh, because he sort of run it in, but what's Blackadder meant to do? But I mean, in the debate, it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be a yellow card. Like that's
it's
normally
got to be common
that was
sense
never gonna
though.
be a red. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And to answer your question, no, like I mean, rugby TMOs because VAR has only been around for like much shorter time, and honestly, they're still trying to get the hang of it. But yeah, like TMO, I mean TMO that's in rugby, I guess is and Union League. There's a recognized, we've used television technology for what, 20 odd years now. So it's like, it's part and parcel of the game. So
It is,
and
and we have to accept it. I think in a game like rugby where there's so many moving parts, obviously you've got 30 players on the field, but you've also got there's so much to it. You've got the offside line, you've got the ruck, you've got off the ball work, on the ball work. We probably need a TMO if we're being realistic. Like you always hear calls for people to get rid of the TMO, and as much as we
no, it'll never happen. Yeah,
as much as all rugby fans have been, we've all been on the short end of a TMO call or our team. At the end of the day, there's been times where our team or your team has had the benefit of it.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
people always
just
got to
that's just
complain when things go against you. So, and it's, but yeah,
of
like I
course.
mean, there's it's better with it. I don't think it's just also down to people interpretations as well. But I think it's certainly got a bit better. I mean,
What do
for
you
me,
think about what do you think about this new thing where, like, I think it was we saw on the weekend actually a little bit. I think it was a little knock on at the base by TJ, and then it wasn't called at the time. I think they went 2-3 phases, and then when they stopped, whistle blew it halfway through a phase. Nah, back to the call. What do you think about that? Stopping play for Timo has the right to intervene any part of the game. He can go back 10 phases. What do you think about all that?
I'm, I think I mean, yeah, I'm all right
See
with
that?
that. Yeah, because I mean, look, yeah, like referee, as you say, I think like TMOs are good in rugby. I mean, you don't want to be like trying to go for absolute perfection, man. Because I think you'll put pressure on referees, and it's a really hard enough job as it is. They will make mistakes, and I mean, I guess, yeah, you flip on it like, what if the All Blacks that scored a try, and there's a knock on there. Argentina would be, well, you go back. I think you go back even to the days, when '07, 2007 Rugby World Cup quarter final, because back then, of course, TMOs couldn't rule like, how they could only rule like the last on like whether it was a try or that sort of thing.
And the try line, I think it was.
Yeah, the misselect forward pass. It was like, well, that back then they couldn't over, the TMO couldn't rule on that. So, but now of course they can't. Now of course they could say, hey, because it was he's thrown an obvious forward pass. So yeah, I mean,
Well, like we even saw at the World Cup, they had the whole thing of them being able to intervene any time now. They may as well bring it in because you saw at the World Cup in the final. I think it was the Aaron Smith try that was disallowed.
Yeah.
They brought it back 5 phases anyway. So they weren't even really adhering to their two phases rule. So I guess it solves all arguments. It solves all issues at the end of the day.
If they're watching it live, and that's fine. Like it doesn't stop the game. They go back live. They pinpoint it. So yeah, I mean, it's I guess it's more an issue of like they stop the game and they're gonna go back. And yeah, I think it's more the time. The amount of time the stoppage time.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just culture, right? Because rugby, yes, rugby's used to it. In football, of course, yeah, the most traditional fans, like it's the game. The beauty of the game is because it flows. There's barely any stoppages, and then they introduce VAR, and it's like, yeah, there's so many stoppages, so it's not popular. But well, then you have the other flip side, the NFL. It's like it's like the stoppages to measure the they still use chains to measure downs, and it's like
Yeah,
it's like $1 billion sport, and you're still using such an antiquated and not even accurate way to measure it. It's like, oh my, they are trying.
A big thing too is like with the whole stoppage thing in sport in general. It's a culture thing. You look at New Zealand culture, New Zealand sport. New Zealanders will never get used to American football. That stop start play, and a big part of that is because as a country and as a culture, we've always played a free flowing rugby. We've always tried to pass the pill, and we've always tried to play good rugby. And that idea of stop start rugby, and even the whole contestable kick thing, negative rugby. the All Black players will never buy into that. They'll never buy into
Yeah,
that because you spend a whole life doing something that it's hard
yeah,
to go back on that. It's extremely hard to go back on that. And you hear people say, what game plan to play the box, for example. You've heard it, are we going to kick them off the park, run them off the park, muscle them up? Rugby's rugby. You obviously got to play up front. We've got to win the battle up front, obviously. But at the end of the day, we're not going to beat South Africa by being South Africa. We're the All Blacks. The All Blacks are the All Blacks, and they've got to do their thing. They've got to play to a high tempo, play to a high skill set, and I think we've got to run the box off the park. If I'm being honest.
South Africa tried to be like us. I think was it after the 2011 World Cup, and I think they had Alistair.
I remember
and that
20,
was an actual disaster. Was it
2016? 2016? After 2015 World Cup, and they tried to
was it Heineken Wine? No, yeah.
It wasn't Coetzee. It was was it Coetzee?
I think it was Coetzee. Yeah. They tried.
Yeah, it was Coetzee. It was Coetzee. Yeah.
Into the All Blacks and
they tried. They tried their best.
Yeah, then they went back. They got Rassi, and it's like, we're going back to square one.
And that was a 57-0 at Albany.
Oh yeah, was that 2017? Yeah,
around there. Yeah, nah, you got to stick to your DNA.
Yeah,
and yeah, I guess regarding selection in Africa, in South Africa, it will be interesting to see what where Razor goes with that. I'm not too sure if they've got the mix right again to play the box. We don't know. We've seen obviously a very good rampant performance against an Argentinian team that I always think with Argentina, for them, say they come over here and they play 2 games, winning 1 game is more than enough for them.
Yeah,
it's hard for them to be there for 2 games, and that's why
that consistency. Yeah,
it's all about consistency, and even consistency isn't just physicality and skill; it's mental. The ability to have a game, soak it in, bounce back up and go back to work on Monday and review the footage and be better. That takes special athletes, and the team, probably only 3 or 4 countries on the team on the planet in the rugby world do that.
How many teams have actually beaten the All Blacks back to back? Like,
I think back to back at home.
At home, New Zealand, Ireland, and then before that, British.
I think Ireland and it's that was a win and a draw.
No, they didn't even. No, it was not even a game.
It doesn't happen often. It's rare. It's rare, and the All Blacks obviously they're great bounce backers, and I think it was Mills Molina. He was saying, say that again.
Was it France? Might have been 94 or
it might have been.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah,
but no, I think it was Mills. He was saying one thing that's always made great All Blacks teams and All Blacks teams in the past, and I thought this was quite interesting. He always said about just the All Blacks' ability to lose and then review footage, go on the training park and make things right. The All Blacks have always been good at that, but at the end of the day, we don't have footage to review South Africa with. It's a pretty fresh team. We've got new 9 and 10. And quite a lot of changes in the forward pack. We've got obviously a whole new locking combo and no Sam Cane, no Shannon Frizzell. So you're looking at close to half the starting team with a new team for last place South Africa. You got Whitelock,
he played in part, I guess. But now I guess like you've got Blackadder now, who's pretty much, I guess Blackadder's pretty much now the everyone's like favorite number 7 at the moment, and like he was really good. I guess that's the injury bit. Artie Savio's Artie's always going to start, as long as he's not injured. So
the thing is, they're playing Blackadder at 6, right? And they've got Papali'i at 7. And when I talk about balance and the combination, that's where I'm referring to. By the way,
would you go for Dalton Papali'i at 7?
I don't know how I feel about Dalton Papali'i at 7 at the test in the test arena. He's clearly a good player. He's Dalton Papali'i. He's a workhorse, and He's a good player.
Yeah,
But to me, Test rugby, international Test rugby, especially in the forward pack, but in the back line as well, it's all about combination.
yeah. You kind
You
of have
can,
to South Africa
you
as
can't,
well.
yeah,
So,
no,
yeah,
and you can't go six, or sorry, say the loose forwards. You can't have three females, and you can't have three canes.
no.
We need to balance it. It's all about the balance. Most people know that.
Mm,
But what is that balance? I guess that's up to Razor. That's up to Razor. But yeah, I don't know what they'll go selection wise. I think they will go. I'll be interested as to see if they go De Groot or Williams at one.
Yeah, what
I think they will.
because the group came off early at Eden Park. I think I've actually sort of forgotten. Like it must be okay, but they haven't like made any. Like he came off pretty early. I mean, Williams
Same
was
thing.
really good when he came
Did you
on.
see they've just released the All Blacks team to travel South Africa to South Africa?
Has that just
I've
come
just
out?
seen it. Yeah, it's just come out. Patrick Tuipulotu and Stephen Perifeta will not be travelling to South Africa. See here yet? No.
New Zealand Herald. What's your choice?
Quite weird.
New Zealand Herald?
got-
Are you a New Zealand Herald or stuff person?
Stuff.
Yeah, I
Stuff.
but I don't know they're about the same. Yeah, Tuipulotu.
I said they've got. I'm sure it might be a typo, but they've got Harry Plum as an outside back here. I don't know what that's about.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've got this is the team.
Jordan's in there now, so interesting. Yeah, I mean,
They've got Waikato now. It's the same 36. Obviously for the rugby championship they've named, but they haven't got no Perifet and no Tuipulotu. And they've got De Groot. De Groot will be travelling with them.
Yeah,
it will be interesting to see what. It's a big squad, 36 people to go to Africa. I think it's a huge squad actually. But yeah, I don't know. It will be interesting. I think they'll go with largely what they named against Argentina. I think.
Where are we playing the games? Also, I can't remember off the top of my head.
The first one's at Ellis Park.
Ellis Park, and then is it?
I think the next one's at
Not Bloemfontein. No, because
I want to say it's in Cape Town.
Yeah, so Ellis Park's always awesome to play at.
That's awesome. That'd be awesome.
It's almost like I know it's like it's one of those grounds. It's South Africa. It's like
the Holy Grail.
It's not quite Eden Park, but it's sort of like because we won there more than people think might expect.
We have. No, we do well at Ellis Park. I think
it's like what is it like like the Australia whenever they play England at Lords, it's like Australia always wins there because it's Lords. It's like or Wembley.
I'd say with Ellis Park, a big part of it is while you can't bag on history when you haven't won at a stadium for so long, like Eden Park. It's got to play a part. It's got to play a little part. I think the All Blacks go to Ellis Park and they're not scared. They're confident. It's not like we're playing the box. It's we're playing the box, but we've done this before. We've done it. We do it regularly. And I think they'll back themselves at Ellis Park. I've seen the TAB odds: $2.90 All Blacks, $1.37 Springboks. Springboks are obviously heavy favourites there, which I was quite surprised. I know that they're favourites, but some good money to be won there.
Do much of the TAB or
here and there?
I see the odds
here and there. It's a dangerous game, isn't it?
I'm like in Melbourne Cup, but I'm like, no, I can't. Yeah, it's like it is dangerous. You could, I'm just like, I do like seeing the odds, but I just enjoy it. I
always check the odds.
Yeah.
I always post the odds up on the page on the. Make sure you guys are following them at the Damian McKenzie page, by the way. 15,000 followers, so we're growing there. And
so how many followers? So you got 15,000.
Yeah, 15,000 followers now. Coming on 16, and it really took off. I think for a bit there was just just teetering along through. Because you've been around a while, David. You've seen a lot of the growth, and you're seeing from the get go, and kind of just teetered along there for a bit, and then
that game, actually I know with ages ago, back in the day with Facebook, you used to be able, used to be able to start player group pages.
yes.
I want Ben Smith, but back in the day, you didn't have these blue ticks or that sort of thing, because I guess players at the time were still hadn't gone on, you could use Facebook was like a massive tool to get followers, and then so I started Ben Smith page. It got really popular, and then the guy behind Legend of Marty Banks, his name's Alex.
Alex Malcolm.
Alex Malcolm. Yeah. He's actually a mutual friend from he's a mutual friend of a mutual friend. So it's it's a small world. He started the Marty Banks page, but then it was Facebook started clamping hey, because Facebook, of course it was a loophole then. It's the name Ben Smith is available, so I might name it. And then people start thinking, this is the real Ben page. No, it's not. Unofficial, and then you're
okay.
And then when Marty Banks is I'm gonna put Legend of Marty Banks, and it's been that, and I mean he's got Christopher Luxon commenting on his page. That's awesome. It's
is Chris Luxon commenting on Alex's page?
Yeah, he's done a few. He's at Christopher Luxon. He's had
I got Willie Jackson. I had Willie Jackson.
Nice.
I had Willie Jackson. Yeah. But it's a cool. We've got a good community. There's some real good guys out there, and I really enjoy doing the stuff I do. I like to have my say, and for a while there, it just wasn't really taking off, and it kind of just took off, and it
does take a while, and
it does take a while. I always laugh because if you follow the page, you can clearly see it's not Damian. Like the wording and everything, it's pretty clear.
You've got it wouldn't be.
I get people messaging me. I get people messaging me sometimes, being like, "Great game you played, Damian."
And that actually happened. I mean,
exactly. And I've made
no, it's not him. Because actually, and Benson's wife, I think Katie Menzies is actually not a mutual friend. This is New Zealand, several degrees of separation. It's this is not Ben Smith. This is not. And it's I think
interesting, very interesting, actually. When I wanted to make my page, I had no idea what to call it. That was a big bit of it, because I was like, I want it to be I don't want it to be generic, like rugby chat, or I don't know, rugby blog or whatever. I want it to be kind of different, but I also didn't want it to be again, I didn't want it to call it Damian McKenzie fan page. I wasn't trying to do that. So I wanted something a bit unique, and I think it had a bit of a ring to it. I think it does.
Yeah, it's a good name.
So it's real good, and I really enjoy running the page. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who tunes in, who comments, who likes, who gets involved in it. You guys are what makes the page what it is. So really appreciate it all from everyone.
I mean, LIM Report is just you know what LIM Report's with how when people buy LIM Report. My surname's LIM, so I thought why not? So I guess with me I mean I'm more I'm mainly more YouTube, because that's sort of I guess I've always
I should get on YouTube.
I've always been YouTube since as far as I remember. I used to back in the day. I used to do F1 videos, and
when I was about 10 years old. 10 years old. I'm probably about, the channel's still up. I used to I used to record All Blacks clips and put it on my channel. And I remember there was a video. It was the Aaron Cruden winning kick in 2013 against Ireland to get the undefeated year. Remember that? It was against Ireland.
When you were 10, that's in 2013.
Yeah, something like that. It was around there. And
wow.
About 11 maybe, something like that. And I just remember posting and I got like a couple of like 20,000 views, and I thought that was so cool.
Oh, nice. Good
As a
job.
kid, I thought that was so cool. Yeah. So
Yeah. 20,000.
no, I've always been into the whole like social media promotion side. You know, the whole put my name out there rugby side of things. I've always been into that, but I really just never really had the just the idea. And I guess I think when I made the page, Damian had won 5 games in a row for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And it was like he kicked a few goals and he scored a winning try, I think it was. It was like 2011, 2022 sort of period. Then he went to Japan and I just didn't post on it because I was just like, well, there's not much content. You know, it's not the same. Like, it's, you know, for a lot of people who think that New Zealand rugby is done poorly, you'll be surprised. It's so hard to find content in some of the other leagues, like stats wise and things like that. Like, honestly, that's the thing that rugby has to improve on is the marketing, stats, and just like, even for example, like on my page, I posted top point scorers in the rugby championship. I think it was Damian McKenzie, Carreras, Sacha Feinberg, and then Noel Olesio. I'm probably the only person. I'm probably the only person that has posted that in the whole world. You know, like why is Sanzo not posting that? Why is the rugby champ?
I mean, you know, those Super Rugby stats were like the Super Rugby page stats. The Super Rugby page has some pretty good stats. I mean, it's pretty basic.
They're good, and people want to see that. And you'll see that the Super Rugby competition is probably this year especially was probably one of its best it's been in years. Crowd numbers wise, viewership and just engagement, and that was a huge reason why my page did well this year was the growth of Super Rugby. So the statistics tell the story. At the end of the day, you look at Six Nations. Look at their social media. The Sands Rugby Championship needs a big overhaul, social media wise, marketing wise. It's not fair on the players. It's not fair on us. If we want to.
I mean, nowadays, like, you know, other sports, you know, if you want to find stats on us. I mean, the American sports have always been like so good at it.
Yeah, they're real good at it.
Football, pro, basketball, and then you got, you know, soccer. You've got your like transfer market. I mean, you know, there's so many pages. There's just like people like, you know, channels or, you know, people just doing like analyze. You know, they've got a whiteboard and with all these dots and just like, you know, showing people how to do tactics. And it's not even the coach. It's like, well, this is how Liverpool
even something like this. Like, I'll give you an example. If you go online and you try find, say, Richie Mwanga stats from his goal kicking, you won't be able to find anything. No. Like, you will not be able to find anything. Like,
career stats, you might find one
a little thing maybe, but you should. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. Like, we should be able to access things like career stats. You know, full career stats and a full thing. Like, I think the best site is Rugby Database for appearances and tries and all that.
Yeah,
I use that for all of my stuff because they're pretty onto it and they're pretty up to it.
Scrum used to be really good, but I don't know what, because they were trying to make it like they were trying to create some like because ESPN they bought Crick Info and then they started their Scrum like as a, you know, the Crick Info version of the rugby, and they were trying to build it out and it was actually good, and then they just stopped doing it. And actually, even the All Black side, the official All Black side, they used to do stats, and I was like, no, it's like, is it time or just it's such a shame. I guess there's so many how many stats you can find. It's like,
well, no, I guess you say like in the American, say NBA, how well they do. You know, they do stats so well. You know, they break it down to the smallest stat you could imagine.
Yeah.
You know, 3-point shots on this court behind his back. They narrow it down. They can really narrow it down, and
all those YouTubers
stats aren't everything.
No, but
I'm a stats guy, and I do like to see the stats. So,
this is
I think it's something that rugby can improve on. Stats, and just marketing. Like, in even those rugby championship games, they kind of rely on good fans and people who just have a knowledge of the game to know when the games are on.
Yeah,
there's not much promotion really. You know, it's kind of just if you know, you know. You know, it's not kind of thrown down our throat. And it probably should be. If we're trying to grow the game, we want everyone to know. You don't have to watch it, but you should know. You should know that the All Blacks
I
are
guess,
on.
yeah, because I guess New Zealand, if an All Blacks game is on, you know an All Blacks game is on. So
Because
it's
New
like,
Zealand.
they're
Yeah.
kind of like, they're sort of like, I mean, I'm sure it's probably going to be like that, because the All Blacks and New Zealand rugby is all like, it's part of the culture. It's like, Super Bowl in the US or that, FA Cup in England. But you can't take that for granted because things change all the time, and you can really see that, with the way people not, less people, I guess now there's so many more options besides rugby for young people and families to to take part of, and you've got heaps of people who've migrated, from outside New Zealand. They've never grew up with
Exactly.
rugby, so they can't appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah. True. Yeah.
you can't just rest on your own, say this is going to be, we don't have to do anything, but we just let the reputation and history just be, and we don't do any work. It's like, you've got it, but
Well, it's the thing, eh? Like,
yeah.
people expect those boys to put on the black jersey and them to perform magic. You got to perform that magic. The black jersey's not the magic. You're representing your country, but you can't. We can't keep living off history. We can't keep living off the Carter and McCaw days. This is a new generation. It's the Barrett McKenzie generation. We've got Scott Barrett, Damian McKenzie leading that ship around, and we've got to back it. We've got to support it. Everyone has their opinions on Scott Barrett this, Damian McKenzie that. But if you think they're bad rugby players, that's a you problem. They're great rugby players. They represent our country pretty superbly, and I've got full faith in the boys that they'll do a big job in Africa. I think they will anyway. While we're at it, do you want to let's go through and let's name a team 1 to 23.
Like a 23 for Ellis
Ellis Park. Yeah. So number 1, we'll start with the props.
I always get my props. I follow rugby player. You always get the props all. Is it? Well, we have you would have your 3 will be De Groot. I think you got to be Taylor. I mean, Omua's. I think Omua's better impact, and then
I think De Groot, Taylor, Lomax, pretty substandard, but I'd say Barrett 4, and then Scott will be back. Scott will be there.
Yeah, no, he's got to be.
He'll be there. He'll be there. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be tough on Derry or Flyy. Yeah.
I would go Derry.
Yeah.
Just for that height, and I think
he's
2
done
blokes
really well this season. Like he wasn't even the review. And then it's like bang, he's it. It's like Noah Wholesome as well. It's like, oh yeah, they really. So those are the 2 guys who's like just taking.
Honestly,
like bang.
I've had big raps on Sam Derry for a while now. Probably about 2 years now. When I first watched Sam Derry. Yeah, when I first watched Sam Derry, I just knew he was a bit different. Not just as a player, but he just had a certain way about him. I think it was last year in the Blues 2023 season. The Blues fell apart when Derry went out, believe it or not. If you actually look back on it, I think it was a semi-final against the Crusaders last year. They got obliterated. And you saw the team just fell apart without Derry in the season this year. We've just had, again, Derry was a huge influence for the Blues in their championship. So, no, I think he's the future. He gives me a lot of Whitelock Retail vibes. So I think he's a bit of a future Whitelock in there. So I think Derry, Barrett, and loose forwards. I think they will stick with Blackadder, Papali, Savia. But I personally would start Kane at 7.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a hard one.
More interesting. I think. Well, wonder, because Savia could play 6 or 8. So I wonder if you could try. You have because Blackadder will be. You could have Blackadder at 7, and then bring in Fina or Satiti, just.
Me personally, the 6 Fina, 7 Blackadder, 8 Savia, that would be ridiculous. I think that would just go so well. Like you've got the work rate of Savia and Blackadder, and you've just got that size off
Yeah.
now.
Because if you have Blackadder, it's kind of, if you have Blackadder playing still at 7, it's kind of, I mean, 4 people, Sam Kane and Papali is like, they're kind of a bit redundant there because he's like, well, you know, Blackadder can do both. I mean, as long as he's fit and he's just, you know,
I just want to see, I guess the word compliment, you know, I want to see the right players complement each other.
Yeah.
I still just don't think Papali and Blackadder together is the right combo. I'm not sold yet.
No,
I hope I can be because I've met Dalton, bloody good guy actually.
oh, yeah.
I met Dalton, yeah, had a real good chat with him actually. I had a real good chat with Dalton Papali and AJ Lamb.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
it was a couple years back. No, it was during lockdown period when you remember when Auckland had
oh, yeah,
Auckland
was
got locked out.
And New Zealand.
Yeah, they came down here and they were staying in Cambridge, just by Hamilton. By Hamilton, and I ran into Dalton and I ran into AJ and I had a good chat with him. And no, I have full support of Dalton Papali. He's a good test footballer, and I think he is a lot. He's still young, you know. He's still pretty young, and I think he can.
Oh yeah,
he can improve a lot.
Years. Yeah.
He got a lot of years behind him, so I wouldn't rule out Dalton just yet. But I think it's about you know the right combinations.
Yeah,
I think only one of Kane, Savio, or Blackadder is your 7. You know, you can't have.
You
know, there's not. I'm just not a big into getting your best out there for the sake of it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty big into about positions, playing people in the right positions. So yeah, I guess if we're going to look at Blackadder, Papali, Savia, we'll have to hope it gets the goods. Hope it gets the job done.
Yeah.
I guess backline, Damian McKenzie. You think that's pretty substandard?
Yeah. Of course, you're like, oh, I would have been shocked if you named Barrett at starting first line.
Oh.
Biggest revelation.
Yeah. No, I think if we looked at the All Blacks team and the setup over the last few years, just in general, Barrett has played so little at 10. You know, I think
Moanga was like Barrett came at 10. Like he can play there if need be, but Moanga had him. Moanga passed him years ago, and then and T-Max.
And then even 2023, I think it was first test against Argentina 2023. Damian was at 10. World Cup final, Damian came on and played 10. So even Foster,
he's better at fullback. Yeah, it's just that.
Yeah, so he's better at fullback. Simple as that. So I'd probably Damian 10, Perenara 9, midfield. Obviously, Geordie at 12, but 13. You think they'll go Rico or Leonard Brown?
I think they might go Rico. It just seems to.
Yeah, I think so.
Seem to feel like.
I think so.
I mean, I call him LB.
No, I think so.
He's always been LB. Anton Leonard Brown, he's like LB. I mean, LB's such a good footballer, but it's kind of like, man, he could, if it weren't, I mean, in a different age, he could have, he's like, he could be like.
It's a very interesting point you just bring up there. Do you reckon he's the sort of player, if he was in, say, the early 2000s, you say he'd dominate even? Or do you think it's an eras thing, or? So you say he's an incredibly smart footballer. He's in high skill set. He's got all. But
would you be putting up his mom? I mean, you can't compare. I mean,
I remember watching Leonard Brown versus Nonu in 2019 in Hamilton, and Nonu bumped Leonard Brown off so hard.
Like Nonu was a
beast, man.
Yeah,
as a kid, man, I loved Nonu and Smith. Nonu and Smith were like, as a kid, you don't know the intricacies as well. You kind of just look at what you see and you're just like, oh, I love these guys. I used to just love our barnstorming midfielders, and I don't.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was it's the unlikely. I mean, they played together for Wellington and the Canes. Well, I mean, once Umaga retired, but like Nonu and Smith was like, and then I kind of guessed it was like, natural. It was kind of like, once they're in the All Blacks, but I guess it's like, it's the greatest pairing we've ever had. It's like, no doubt. It's like, I mean, they've got two.
Just the greatest, man. just the greatest,
no
honestly.
one will ever be that. I mean that. Yeah, but I mean for me, yeah. So Barrett, yeah. I mean it's Geordie and Rico. I mean, and then outside backs, yeah. That's they'll have to go for a bomb
I'm,
squad. Sure, like well
I'm,
to take on the
yeah,
bomb.
I'm definitely going Jordan on the wing, Barrett at fullback. That's set for
Yeah,
me. It's
yeah.
just that other wing. It's between Reese, Clark, and Talia.
I wonder if Clark was really good in last
I
weekend.
think they will go Clark. I think he provides a
Yeah,
different dimension. He has that ability to bend the line a little bit.
yeah.
He's just a
Wonder
bigger unit.
because yeah, I wonder those like how you saw like those first few games like England and then even Fiji like were quite set. Those like Marcus Smith was trying those NRL style bomb kicks and then they realized because like our wingers have started it's been years they've always like cut inside and then it's like if you just put a bomb out there's like there's lots of space there to go and it's kind of like that's
Well, the thing I'd say is like Will Jordan. He's not as strong or as powerful as Caleb Clark, and he probably doesn't even have the step or the work rate off a Tilly or a Reese. But Will Jordan has out and out pace. You know,
and he's good in
he,
the air. It's like
he's good in the air. He's good. He's a smart footballer. I will say Tilly and Reese together. You've got two wingers who are constantly their point of difference is the ability to look for work, the ability to go
mm,
and field. And when you've got those two together, it's just too much. The width is not there. The shape of the team is pretty off.
nah, yeah,
So I think Clark and Jordan will hold their width and Barrett at fullback will marshal the team pretty well. So I think that 15 is pretty set. I don't see a lot changing from the previous Argentina game, just the
uh,
inclusion of
I
Barrett over Vai
was
and
really good this year actually. I mean, I think there was a bit of questions like is he going to NRL and all that, but it's like I think he's definitely really stepped up. And yeah, I mean last year was like Talia because I don't know if you saw it, like Mark Talia broke like Jordan Lomu's record for like number of broken tackles or something at a Rugby World Cup. It's like,
yes,
but
yeah.
yeah, and I mean,
Personally,
again,
personally, I don't know. I think Tilly is better than Reese. I think, it's hard to say. Like Reese does things that Tilly doesn't, and vice versa. So
mm,
it's a little between them. Like comparing Tilly and Reese is like to me, it's like almost like comparing McKenzie and Barrett at fullback. There's not a lot
yeah,
in it. They've both got their strength, both got their weaknesses, and it depends what you're kind of looking for in your
yeah,
team and what you're after. And I guess Tilly has that extra bit of height, slight more
yeah.
height, and just has
It's got
that
that ability to break the tackles. Like, yeah, it's like
just ability to break the tackle. Yeah, and that's hard to beat. And yeah, so I guess bench wise, Almua, pretty obvious.
yeah,
Williams, and I guess Newell, that's pretty substandard. Off the bench, I guess if Tuipulotu's out, it'll be either Josh Lord or Tupovai.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I
Uh,
guess imagine Kifai because he's if
I
Scott
think Vai
Barrett,
for the
yeah,
experience, but if they want the height, I guess Josh Lord will be the man.
mm,
Uh, reserve loose forward, I guess we're looking at Sam Cane.
yeah. I mean,
Sam Cane off the bench.
because if you already got Blackadder and like, I mean, you got Final and PT, it's like,
Yeah,
what?
so
Yeah,
I'm assuming we'll be going Ratamo as well off the bench.
we go
Bennett
for like,
Brown, I'm assuming.
do we go for like, what what we should do like what Rossi does and name like what a 7-1 bench. But that's
Honestly, I reckon we actually have the players for it.
yeah.
We do. Like
I
Geordie
wonder if he
Barrett.
just does it to take the piss. It's like, yeah, come on. This is because
The
Rossi
whole
loves being like, he is like, I mean, he was he was a great, he's been brilliant. Like, I mean, there are moments where he's definitely crossed the line, like, referee, like he did, I was at that video, he did a whole hour video about the refs or something, and then,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he got in trouble for
but he is
that.
good. Like, I mean, yeah, honest, like, I guess for me, like South Africa, they are. I mean, as you know how he said earlier, we're always gonna be all about skills and all that. South Africa, we might like they definitely have skilled players, but their real strength is like it's just the top 2 inches. They just they just have they just do what works to win the game, and it's not who cares if it's pretty, like
No,
we'll drop.
they're brutal. They're brutal. They're an extremely brutal
Yeah,
rugby team and
and they're passionate for and they're
very passionate.
South Africa, yeah.
No, it's going to be a huge ask to get the win, a win, even a win in South Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, honestly, how we will go, if I'm being real, because, again, we haven't seen Damian McKenzie against a top-level team at 10. We haven't seen Dalton Papali'i against a top-level team at 7. We haven't seen Sam Darry compete at the top level. There's a lot of these guys are unknowns. Like, we know that they're good players. We know Sam Darry. We know Dalton Papali'i. We know Damian McKenzie. We know how good these guys are. Don't get me wrong. We've watched them play Super Rugby for years now. I've watched probably over 200 games of Damian McKenzie. You'd be surprised. I've watched a lot of McKenzie. But again, I don't know. I know how good he is. I know he's a great player. But as I say, we talked about pressure before. Pressure is one thing. And when you've got 80,000 South Africans screaming, and you're playing against a rampant block forward pack that's passionate, as David said, passionate as it gets, and they're not going to lose. They do not want to lose. World champions. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be close, and I'm not expecting to win. If I'm being honest, I'm expecting us just to give it everything as they always do, and if we can get the win, a 3 a.m. win in Africa,
That'll be huge. Yeah,
it'll be huge. It'll be huge. It will be huge, and I think that will be the start. If I'm being honest, if we get the win in South Africa, the DMAC critics, that will be the beginning of the end. If I'm being real, because it's a big one. That's a big one. He's always been told that he can't cut it at 10 at the international level. He can't even cut it as a fullback. There are people out there who think this guy should even put on a black jersey. You get your critics out there, and you get people who think they know more about code than Razor. That's New Zealand for you. You get your couch coaches, and it's one of those things too.
It's so much easier with social media. It's like
it is,
and you feed off it because it's like it's how your dopamine works, and I guess that's the downside of social media. Having all this like readily available that you can react so easily. It's like, but then sometimes it's just good like take a page, like hang on, just
I think a lot of people, sad as it is, there's a comment here. I'll respond to that. Is we live in a there's so many DMAC haters. I think we also understand that Super Rugby plays a big part in this. We live in a very parochial country. People back their man, but to everyone out there, you can have Richie Mo'unga and you can have Damian. They can both be good rugby players. Just letting you know that. Just because Damian's good doesn't mean Richie's bad. And because Richie's good doesn't mean Damian's bad. They're both excellent rugby players. The best 10s this country's had since Carter. Barrett was a good 10 and he won World Player of the Year, but he lost that pretty quick. He wasn't a consistent 10. Whereas, D-Mac shown he has the goods. He's a great goal kicker. And you can have two good players. People need to just take a step back for a second and understand that you can have two good fullbacks. You can have Will Jordan and Bowden Barrett. You can have Mo'unga and McKenzie. Like, there's not just one good player. We're that good. New Zealand is that good at rugby that we've got the talent to compare two great players, and we should just be blessed that we've got these sort of players. And to answer your question, Cheryl, why there's so many DMAC haters? It's a good question.
Are they Blues or Hurricanes fans?
I don't know. A big part of the Damian hate is, at the end of the day, first things first, everyone has their opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. Everyone has their opinion on what they think is a good rugby player and what they think isn't. A big part of what I think about what makes Damian so polarizing is his style of play. He's not your traditional 10 or even fullback. He's different. You can say what you like. You can say they can be in a good way or a bad way. Damian's different, and a lot of people don't like to see someone stick out. And a lot of people, tall poppy syndrome is a thing. It's alive and well in New Zealand.
I think it's also, I don't know. You're probably but you weren't old enough to remember. Yeah, I remember, and it's showing my age. Like like of course New Zealand was split against against Auckland and Canterbury, at least. Yeah, that was the Carlos Spencer versus Andrew Merton's rivalry, and obviously the
Yeah.
Aucklanders despise Andrew Mertens, and then and the Canterbury certainly, I don't know if you've seen the old, 2000, look up the 2004 Blues Crusaders game, Carlos Spencer does the gesture to the Lancaster Park crowd, and so,
Yeah.
he's always
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
strict,
Of course.
so I guess it's like, oh, well, it's just sort of like, D-Mac versus, Richie or whoever. It's
Richard,
just, yeah.
exactly that.
I mean, D-Mac
Exactly
feels
that.
like a modern day version of, but much better version. I mean, Carlos had his strength, but I think D-Mac was just like, I don't know. It's a compliment. I mean, because Carlos is
I
great.
think
I mean,
D-Mac's a more well-rounded player than
yeah,
Carlos.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, he's
Carlos
definitely good.
was spectacular, just spectacular.
But yeah, he could be really good. But then, like '03 World Cup is like when the
When the pressure,
when it's
when the
on.
moment, when it really mattered, yeah. And it's a shame that people remember him for that, but that's like Sam Cane. People remember Sam Cane for his red card, and it's the big moments that define you. I think I put a post the other day. It was in quote to Winston Churchill. It was, the big moments define your character. That shows someone's character, and it's true. Under pressure, you see someone's true character. You see what someone's made of, and I think Damian, he's got. God, was he was Tommy Pops?
Yeah, those were great.
No, Damian. A big part of it as well is I don't know this myself, but Damian McKenzie played schoolboy rugby in Christchurch. He was part of the Canterbury setups through age group rugby.
Mm. And Damien and his cousin and Marty,
so Damian was on a scholarship to Christ College, and he was part of the Canterbury and Crusader setups. Some people don't actually know that he was part of the Crusaders and Canterbury setups throughout age group rugby, and he got scouted out by Wayne Smith to come to the Chiefs. Him and Antoine Brown got scouted out, and I'm sure this isn't part of it, but no, there are Crusaders fans who can't stand the guy. There are Crusaders fans who can't stand the guy, and same way that there are Chiefs fans who can't stand Mwanga. It's at the end of the day, you just got to, as what it is. You just got to learn to appreciate the talent. If you can't appreciate the talent, it'll pass you by, and then you're missing great talent. So everyone's allowed their opinion. Everyone's allowed to. You got to do what you want. You got to hate who you want and like who you want, but. You can, if you know the game, you've played the game, and you talk to enough people, and you talk to enough people who know the game. Damian McKenzie is a great rugby player. I don't have any doubt about that. But everyone has their opinion. Everyone has their opinions, and there'll be people listening to this who'll think that Carlos Spencer wasn't a good rugby player. Everyone has their opinions, and I think it's until you go out there into the arena. That's when you can. That's when our opinion doesn't mean much, does it? At the end of the day, we're just two guys who watch rugby and enjoy rugby, but we're not out there. We're not out there. We're not coaches, and we're not professional rugby players. And what those guys go out there,
those guys know how to shut it out, people train themselves to shut out the noise. I know that as well at work because I'm like, oh, good morning, about another bad day. Shut the noise out. And rugby players, the booing, Damian McKenzie. D-Mac shuts the noise out. They're professionals. You train yourself to, shut the noise and focus on what you do best. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up.
Mean, bro. Too good, man.
But, have you actually ever met? I mean, you've met Dalton. You met Dalton, AJ Lamb, but have you ever met Damian McKenzie before?
Great question. I've met Kane, met Sam Cane before. Met Antoine Brown, met Dalton. I met Chase Tia. I've met AJ Lamb, but I've never met Damian McKenzie. Believe it or not, I've never met Damian McKenzie, and I'd love to. I'd love to meet the guy.
And there was, I know, because we have another All Blacks. Oh no, we've got Wellington. Oh, the shame there's no All Blacks game in Hamilton, huh?
No, there
It's
isn't. No, there's a I think there's a Wellington test
Wellington's
against
in the
Australia.
test, yeah, but I mean, would you like, would you, I mean, would you go out to like an All Blacks, they had those signing sessions and
Yeah, no,
try and
definitely. No,
oh, you
I'm,
should, yeah. I mean, it's worth the page,
I'm
yeah.
keen.
And
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure
I'm
he's
keen to
probably
meet.
seen your page to be, I mean,
You know, he has. Yeah, no, he's viewed a story before on Instagram.
oh, nice.
He viewed a
Oh, good
story, so
stuff,
no,
yeah.
Damien's well and truly aware of the page, and no, it's I'll be interested as to meet Damien one day. It'd be
Or one day you could do like a stream yard. It'll be instead of me, you'll have Damian McKenzie. You'll have the real man. So and then you'll get him
man.
on hook. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
How about it? Imagine, Imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nah, cheers, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. So he
Yeah.
says here, I've yet to meet D-Mac. He's my adopted son.
Actually, be remiss because did you see the story about? So this club, I think you posted as well. Like, was it some club in Japan?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Yeah, France.
France. Yeah.
La Rochelle rugby club out of France has, I believe, have opened talks with Damian McKenzie's agent to sign him after his 2025 contract with New Zealand Rugby ends. Cut it out.
Yeah.
Cut it out, La Rochelle. Get out of here. We don't want to see that.
Maybe
it was always going to happen.
After 2027, but yeah.
I think what will happen there is, from what I've read and what I've seen, and just what I've read in the past, and just little things. Don't be surprised if he does sign for them. Not for a long term, for 6 months. I wouldn't be surprised if there was ever a time it would be 2026, just because of it's not a World Cup year, and if Razor tells him, no, we want you in the All Blacks either way, he might.
Is he one of those players who has the sabbatical clause? You know, like how Ardy's got that.
He doesn't right now in this contract. He signed till 2025. But when his contract is up for renewal in 2025 or 2020 or end of 2025, when he's signing through next year, he might opt to put in a sabbatical clause. I don't see Damian at the peak of his powers doing that. I don't see him doing that, to be honest. I really don't see it. So unless he's offered $3 or $4 million, something ridiculous, I don't see him jumping ship just yet, to be honest, not at this point in his career. There's been, over the years, there's been a few clubs who have offered Damian money, if you guys were wondering. I think it was Leicester offered him money a little back. Leinster and Leicester have offered him money. Obviously, he had that All Japan.
La Rochelle's a big club now.
They're a big club. They're a big club. And
they won the Heineken Cup last season. I can't remember. Was it?
It was last season. Yeah, they did. No, they're a big club. Huge club.
Let's see the videos of them. Oh, yeah, because they've got, who's it, Ehire West and
Ehire West, yes. Yes.
Have you ever been to La Rochelle? Have you traveled overseas much?
Nah, but I have not been to La Rochelle, but I have seen the crowd.
It's a really beautiful city. I've been to France, but I love France. I love La Rochelle's like, it's on the Atlantic. It's a beautiful city. So that's, I can't blame, look, he's done his time with New Zealand. I mean, eventually he'll go over there and,
he will, and that's the natural progression of an athlete.
I wish I'll see, what happens.
We'll see what happens there, but he's at this point in his career, he's worth a lot of money. He would be probably wise to take the money.
And he's got to think about his,
but
future.
I don't know. Everyone has.
Rugby players have such limited lifespans, and you'll be, you might.
You'd be stupid not to take the money.
Yeah. So, but I guess you're obviously just thinking. So I remember Luke McAllister, who used to be one of my favorite rugby players. Like, I think he just.
I love Luke McAllister.
Game, and then he just took the money and he went to Australia.
That was when he was the starting 12, eh? He was starting 12 and he just left, eh? Yeah.
They kind of.
It does happen. It happens.
Just kind of like blamed a little bit.
A big part of it also personality.
Good for 07 or a bit, but which is a bit unfortunate. But but that's it. Hey, that's such a good chat. Yeah, look, hey, thanks so much, and anyone who watched this, the 2 or 3 or 5, I don't know. It will be recorded and be up on my channel, and Yeah, Tom, you're welcome to share. Yeah, definitely share it. And yeah, feel free
I'll
to
be
like
sharing
and
that, bro. Yeah.
yeah, and
No,
yeah, look, hey, reason I must have because it my wife's been out and go if the other one's served off to be up. So, but hey, look, thanks so much for joining us and Tom and yeah, to South Africa, one last thing, like how many games will we win in South Africa?
mm, great
Or like
question.
series result? Yeah, like
1-1. We'll go 1-1.
yeah,
Just
I'm going
just
1-1 as
because
well.
just
I think
because
we'll win one. Yeah,
I honestly don't see the All Blacks going to South Africa not picking up a game. I just don't see it, and I also just don't see South Africa going to walk over them. Um,
no, yeah,
you can't obviously. I'm not a messiah, but yeah, no, I'd thanks Cheryl, appreciate the
yeah,
comment,
yeah. Thanks,
appreciate
Cheryl.
it a lot. Yeah, no, 1-1 all sounds a fair result.
Yeah,
A big
I'm
part of
going
it
with
too
that as
is,
well.
as I said before, the All Blacks they're famously very good at analysing teams and footage once they've played them. Don't be surprised if we lose that first test and then come back and put the goods together.
Yeah.
So
It could be
no,
the
I've
other way as well. Yeah, like
all the
we
other
win
way,
them
all the other
at
way.
those
You know,
spots
yeah,
where we least expect to win at altitude, and we lose them.
so true. And
We
honestly, at
still,
altitude,
yeah,
at altitude as well, we might actually have the fitness to do it.
yeah.
And I think
And
that's a
we've
big
got
part of it too. At Ellis Park, we always seem to do right there because I think we can handle the altitude. I think our boys are pretty fit, so
Cheryl asked who the refs are. I think they announced it for the game. I don't. Oh, hang on. What's this match? That might be Curry. SA Rugby. Looking at. Oh, this is sorry. This is for Curry Cup.
the referee is Andrew Brace. Andrew Brace is the referee from Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Harley from England. Jordan Waite from Australia. And the TMO is an Irishman, Brian McNeice.
Oh, the
So
Irish.
none of the usual actually. A bit of a Andrew
Yeah,
Brace is actually a good ref. I think he's a good ref. It should be a good game.
he's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's good talking to you. And look, yeah, definitely, yeah. And
I'll
keep
catch
up
you
the
around,
good
man.
on the yeah. Cool. See ya.
No. Cheers, David. Cheers, guys. Have a good one, mate.
Cheers.
See you, mate.